episode of Curing Racism. I am your host, Simpson, along with my co host, Mr. Paul Hoyt. Together, we examine your commonly accepted beliefs that lead to your unconscious bias reflexes. And together, we are Curing Racism. Paul, how are you today, my brother?
I'm doing great. It's another beautiful day here in California. I hope it's another beautiful day in Allentown. It looks pretty good.
Yes, it's actually sunny outside. It's a beautiful day. I'm actually filming from the backyard swing.
I love that. Remind me of the time that I did a consulting engagement in Detroit, Michigan in August. And we had an important, like, all day meeting planned, and hardly anybody showed up for the meeting. And I asked, well, where the heck is everybody? And they said, well, this is like one of the very few good days that we have in August, and pretty soon it's going to get cold, and so people just decided to go to the park instead of come to work. so,
Oh man.
so there are places where really good days are precious and just wonderful to experience, and there's other places where every day is a good day, and you got to get to where you're taking it for granted. And that's where I am in California. Almost every day is a beautiful day, and so we get used to it.
I think when you are happy and grateful, right? Every day is a beautiful day, even no matter where you are in the world. I think it's
Oh,
all about
oh,
perspective, right?
oh.
You know, I always say don't allow anyone, right, to steal your smile, right, or hide your rainbow,
I
right?
love this.
Yeah, so we can find a reason to be happy about any space, right? Just like how you said you can take it for granted, right? There's there's reasons to be miserable about any space, right? I don't get snow, anything. Some people will make a reason not to smile for anything. That's why it is important, and that goes hand in hand with today's topic, right? Right?
Good.
Falling in love with yourself, getting to know who you are, and more importantly, what makes you smile, right? And for me, smile isn't just, right, going teeth to teeth, but smile is to see miracles in life every day. Right? Every day there is something we can celebrate if we choose to celebrate. There's always something that can make you feel bad if you choose to go that way too. That's why the quote is, right? Misery loves company, but so does happiness. Choose wisely. Right? Choose wisely. Yes. So, Paul, my brother, I think you are probably one of the most exciting people, I think, to talk about really falling in love with or getting to know yourself. You have spent years, I think, working on systems, working through practices, even some that I have adopted within my own regiment and some that I've thrown away, right? Not because it wasn't good, but because it doesn't fit me. Right. And that's the great thing. That's why we're talking about today. Normally, we don't talk about me, right? And me not meaning past, but me meaning you, right? We speak in French most times. We speak in we, right? But you cannot be a good teammate. You cannot be a good partner. You cannot be good to anyone until you are first good to yourself.
I love that. I think that that's a really good admonition. And so, one of the things we wanted to talk about today is this journey of getting to know yourself, and this journey of getting to love yourself when you discover what you find. So everybody has, all kinds of inner beliefs and convictions and things that they suspect might be true that are sitting down in their subconscious mind. And that exploration of understanding what you really believe about yourself, what you really believe to be true about the outside world, what you believe to be true about other people is always a very interesting journey. And no matter who you are, when you really begin to open up your soul and look deep within, you're going to find some stuff that's just beautiful, and you're going to find some stuff that's just crap. And, um, one of the things we were talking about on Monday, Paz, was that there's no such thing as a wise person who's also an arrogant person. And that's because the path to wisdom is a very humbling path. When you really get to see about how much control you have over your emotional states and how much control you don't, and you get to see what your triggers are and what upsets you and what excites you, and you begin to do the work necessary to be in more control of your state of being, it is an arduous, very long, very challenging, very humbling journey, but one that pays off so well when you really get to know that in your heart and your soul that you have these optimal states of being, that you have this capacity to being a loving, wise, and kind and helpful and wonderful, wonderful person. When I discovered that greatness within me, I just wanted to be that person all the time. And the journey of being that person more and more and more of the time, getting to know myself, what upset me, what made me happy, so that I could change the beliefs I needed to change and develop the habits that I needed to develop, so that I could be that person more and more often, again, is a most humbling and wonderful, wonderful journey.
The greatest quote that I think I've heard was from Gene Landry, the founder of Chuck E. Cheese.
Hmm.
Um, he was on stage at Secret Knock, and he said, "Your truth will become a lie the more enlightened you become." And I think that at a spot, at a time where I probably wasn't the most humble, um, was something that probably humbled me the most, right? That the more the more you know you don't know.
Yeah.
And then uh, George Fraser said it to me in a different way. He says, "A wise man knows what he knows. He knows what he doesn't know. But more importantly, he knows what he doesn't know he doesn't know."
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So this journey of knowing who you are and getting to accept that can be, let me give you a really a tactical kind of exercise. I've been doing what I call daily self-reflections for 15, 20 years. Every morning I get up and I review yesterday and I ask myself, how happy I was, what made me angry, what made me sad, what took away my energy, what boosted my self-confidence, to really get to know what's going on in my deep subconscious mind and the way that I'm responding to things that happen around me. Um, and it's understanding that allows you to make a change. What I discovered, by the way, was that I used to get angry whenever I called the utility company when the power went off or the internet wasn't working or something, because I felt powerless. What I realized was that, here I was being not my best self at all to the customer service representative. And the reason was because I felt powerless. The reason was because I felt afraid. And just that humbling recognition of, wait a minute, I'm a person who is frightened whenever they're dealing with people who have a lot of power, because I'm afraid that they're not going to help me in the way that I want to be helped, was fascinating insight for me. So the good news is that I changed it. Once I was able to discover it, Once I began to know who I was and what was triggering me, and more importantly, why it was triggering me, I was able to change that. So now, by the way, whenever I call the utility company, I'm the friendliest guy in the world. and and the people on the other end of the phone respond in a like manner. And I almost always get the support that I want, in greater measure than I ever thought was possible. So there's an advantage in knowing who you are if you courageously look at why you're acting the way that you're doing and courageously ask the question of, what am I afraid of? What fear is causing me to act in this way, to respond with this anger, to respond with this depression, to respond, in a way that's not positive at all? You get to know yourself better. And then when you know that, you can heal it. You can heal yourself. You can change yourself. And all of a sudden, that which bothered you, that which triggered you, that which upset you, no longer does.
A good book that I read along the way it's an older book that I don't hear him promote as much as I think he should, because he's grown in his teaching. But it's an older book by David Corbin called Illuminate, and it says, find it, follow it, fix it. You know, when you can find the problem, you can follow the root, follow it back to the root cause, but you can fix what's bothering. That was something that was actually very key along my growth process, right? Being
Yeah.
able to let go of anchors, right? That I needed to let go of. Because sometimes, it's a matter of forgiveness, not just from the person you thought may have harmed you, but for yourself. Sometimes we blame ourselves for putting ourselves in vulnerable positions, or whatever it is that may anchor you to that bad feeling, instead of feeling, blessed and highly favored at all times, instead of feeling, great, right? Because feeling great is better than feeling good, because there's no real opposite to great. But good has an opposite, which is bad, right? We don't want to feel bad at any moment. So, really trying to zero in on those things. I know, especially in neighborhoods of poverty, we talk about the high PTSD that we face, the gun violence and all of those other things, those traumas, right? But to be able to zero in on that exact moment, like, I'm afraid of needles. I'm afraid of needles because a friend of mine's father OD'd when I was young in front of me. So I don't like needles. I have to look the other way. You have to convince me. I used to ask the doctor, say, you need to take blood. Can I just punch myself in the mouth and you catch it on the way out? Right? Like, why do I need this needle? Right? So just understanding, that there's a difference between a hypothermic needle that may, put something in you that you don't need, or a needle that, may take something out of you that you need to have tested, is different. But all of us, right, have different traumas, different idiosyncrasies that we hold on to, that still just moments of joy, right? Moments that we could be smiling bigger, moments of love for ourselves and others.
I love that. So that's our message for today to our people who are listening and watching. Is getting to two things. Number one is getting to know yourself takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of inner strength. It takes a lot of humility to understand what's really going on in your deep subconscious mind. But when you do understand that, then you can change it. And when you change it, you can experience life in a much better way. Knowing who you are allows you the opportunity to shift who you are and lead life in a wonderful, joyful way. So that's what we want for you. That's what, and part of a big part of that, coming back to the theme of our podcast, is curing racism, is understanding why you might be racist. And the answer, by the way, is most likely 99% of the time, it's because somebody told you that you should. A father, a mother, a brother, a person in authority, even a teacher or a preacher, or a politician, especially, says that you shouldn't like these people. They're less than you. They are the enemy, and they're just wrong. Anytime you make a generalization like that, they're just wrong. And the primary message of curing racism is that when you learn to see through those superficial differences that divide us, you will discover the common values that unite us. And that's a huge, huge part of gaining wisdom and growing up.
I agree. But more importantly, you'll find that behind each one of those messages of division was some form of fear, right? Some false evidence that appeared real that allowed others to feed into that unconscious bias. What you will find that most of our fears not only are so uh, based off nothing, right? When you find the reason, right, that they are planted in our brains, they're usually planted with thoughts of lack. There's not enough for all of us, right? They may steal our women, they may steal our money, they may steal our land, they may steal our freedom, instead of seeing they can enhance our production. They can help us make more money together. We can become even more powerful united. So, how does this message remind us? It reminds us that being the best version of ourselves attracts more people to have that one conversation that allows us to bring one heart closer to this cure called caring racism, right? One conversation at a time. We can all do something.
I love it. One conversation, one connection, one heart at a time.
Yes. And if you'd like me or Paul to come to your establishment, your business, your college, your foundation, wherever we can, so that we can spread this message to your people, so that we can increase the productivity around you, so that we can increase the love. Please reach out to us, either Paul at curingracism.com, Paz at curingracism.com, or just go to curingracism.com and just browse around and leave either one of us a message. But don't wait till you have the message in front of you. Get yourself a copy of the book so that you have a doctrine that will allow you to start to find your tribe, to build your confidence, to be free enough to smile big.
I love it. Always great to talk to you, Paz. Reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation with your organization, with your community. And until we meet again, be brave, be strong, be wise, as much as you possibly can. Love everyone and everything all the time. We'll see you, Paz.
See you